Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about the applications, or one of the applications for the MFS. Big D needs to do a mortise, and we're going to go over a lot in this video, including the basic usage of template guides and how to read the scale on the MFS and the setup.
All right, Sedge. So working on a project, I need to be able to cut a mortise, but not just once, like a bunch of times.
Okay.
It's roughly, actually, it's exactly 100 by 220.
Okay, so you need to make a template.
Hey.
That's easy. So what we'll do is I'll show you the right things to consider when making a template. So stay tuned.
All right, so making a template, know that. What are the things that I need to consider before I get started?
Okay, so for me, this is the most important part. If we look at this material, remember when we did the simple chair build, and we drew this out and we did a rough cut with a jigsaw? We followed, this is now a pattern. Okay, and this is an exact, precise mortise we needed for the other part of the chair. So this is the template guide. We use the template guide to make the template, but we use this bit to clean up afterwards, and this bearing followed the what? Template. Okay, this is called a pattern cutter, so this is now a pattern. Okay, so hopefully that's not too confusing. Some of the things I always consider is bearing height, length of flute of, or what I have available to me to make sure that it works. Okay, and I don't want to cut the template either.
No.
Okay, because the template's going to go on top. Just like we took this and put it on that pine that we made the chairs out of. Okay, and one of the reasons I wanted to do this video with you is a lot of people asking, how did I make that through mortise, or how did I make this pattern? We use the MFS, and I'm going to show you how to do that today.
Cool.
If I was using a template to follow this, then the calculations get a little bit different, but I wanted to show you another consideration I always check, and it's right here. It's the height of your template guide, okay? Because I'm not going to use it on this because it's proud.
Oh,
follow me?
Yeah.
That won't work.
It won't cut.
It won't cut. I'd have to shim this to cut. So that's why I like using pattern. And you can pattern cutters. I like to make the template with the MFS is what I like to do. Now I stay away a lot of time for 3/4. You're gonna notice this is all MDF. This is a piece of 1/4 inch ply or 6mm ply, but it's got an MDF core. You want to choose your template material or your pattern material very consistent. You don't want to use particle board because that'll wear out and the bearing will follow the divots in there.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
Okay, so we're going to use this today, and you said, I just write this out, you want it to be 100mm by what, 220mm?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this is why you never really throw stuff away, because you have that. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay that out.
Okay.
And then we'll take measurements, because we're going to use a 30mm template guide, a 10mm bit to make our pattern. Okay, that's 10mm here. This is 30mm. I'll go through the math on that in a few minutes. And then we'll use the MFS, because the scale here on the MFS makes this pathetically easy to set up.
That's what I need.
You betcha.
What's next?
Okay. Chris, come in here so everybody can see this. This is going to be your template or your pattern. We got to cut the pattern. We're going to use the template guide. In using that, we have to do a little bit of math, okay?
Oh boy.
And when we're using the metric system on this, it's pathetically easy. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is the template guide we're going to use that we're going to rub up against the MFS. And because the MFS is going to be our pattern for this. The diameter here is 30, okay, and that's the OD of the template guide, so it's 30, right? Okay, we're going to have a 10mm cutter right in the middle, so I'm going to draw this out. Okay, there's the 30, okay, and we're going to have a 10mm bit. So what you have to know is this bit is going to be cutting up here. So your template guide, you're going to know where to do your layout and where to lay your template. Okay, so this is 10mm bit. You need to know this distance to the outside diameter, not the inside diameter. So it's pretty easy. Take 10mm subtract it from 30.
20.
Man, you're really good at metric, right? And then divide by 2.
10.
10. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a second line out here. This is where we're going to lay the MFS, and it's going to be 10 millimeters offset here. But you got to remember this. It's also going to be over here.
Okay.
And we'll do one here and here. And this is where people make mistakes with the MFS, because what's 10 times 2?
20.
Okay, so that's we're going to set it up with the MFS using a scale at what? 120.
Oh, okay.
And 230. 40. So there you go.
So what's next?
Big D, you must have watched the video again.
Once or twice.
Good job setting this up. If you need to know how to set up your MFS, we did, and boy, we got a lot of views on it. On how to set it up. There's a couple tips and tricks. Big D watched it again, obviously. 'Cause I went in the house and he came back out and it was all set together. So thanks, Big D. Okay.
No problem.
Now, this is how we left that video, and we showed how to use this puck. Okay, we got a 30 millimeter template guide. We got the recess that'll go in, that'll support us. But here's where the math comes in. Okay, and I'm gonna write this down. You gave me the correct math. We're gonna set, and this is why the scale is so important. Look, you have it here and here. And I'm gonna tell you what, we're gonna bring this to its max. And this just happened to work out perfect. We need to set, see how there's 10 millimeters between here and here? I did a layout line around there, okay, because that's where you'll see in a few minutes, this is where we're gonna lay this. So we have to make our template with incorporating the template guide. So that's where it's 10 and 10, 10 and 10. Hopefully I'm not confusing. So we need to set this at 120 millimeters, and this one at what?
240.
240. So we're gonna adjust it here.
Okay.
Now, make sure it's loose and loose, and we're gonna take it to its max. So I'm gonna set this at 120 and 120 right here, and I'm gonna tighten it up. And you remember, only do, because I kept these tight, okay? If you start to have it all wiggly, you'll get frustrated with it. Easily. So I'm gonna set it at 120, 120, and then we'll loosen these two, and I'll have you set it at what?
240.
240. Okay, good. Okay, I'll have you set it now.
Okay.
So which one? So you're gonna crunch it down here.
Down.
So loosen this one.
And this one.
And this one, yep.
Okay. Sedge loves his new shirt.
I do, man. All right.
40.
See it right there? Okay, now tighten it right there. Okay. And this one will be this. And look how this comes in precisely here, Big D. Say 240.
Nice.
Isn't that sweet?
It's like it's designed to work that way.
The MFS is an infinitely adjustable what?
System.
No. Oh. And for the adjustable jig.
That's awesome.
You know, template. It's amazing. This will save a ton of if you had a one-off or maybe 2 or 3, but you want to have a pattern,
right?
You could just use this all day long to cut that out.
It's wicked smart.
Okay, so we're at a point we're going to start routing, and somebody may look at this video and say, "Wow, that's too much work." But think of what this is going to have for you. You're making a pattern that will last a lifetime. So a little front-end time on setting this up. Come in here, Chris. This is the other thing we got to show. See this line here and here? That is where I place my MFS, and sometimes it's just you moving the template underneath to get it all lined up and moving the template. We have a clamp here. Chris, can you get that? And we have one here. And what I like to do is get enough pressure on there. I look at my right angles here, set it up. Now what we're gonna do, Big D, I'm gonna have you reach under in there and start to get some clamping pressure on it, not a lot. Okay, good. And do it simultaneously on both sides. That way there you get proper clamping pressure.
All right, so what's next?
Okay, so you get the layout, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna ask you, what's the one increment? We get it all set up. We got our template guide, this is our puck. What is the one increment of measurement?
Plunge depth.
Okay, so I told him to say that. Okay. Now, are you ready?
Yep.
The reason I wanted to cover this is I used to automatically set this at 6mm, but it was going deeper.
Ah, okay.
Do you know why? Because it's sitting on top of this, which is basically 12mm. So eliminate all that. Eliminate all the numbers. Okay. Let's just start from 0. I'm going to take the router.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to plunge it all the way down. Whoopsie. I'm going to get that out of the way. Now we're starting at 0.
Okay.
Okay. Now, check this out. How thick is this plywood?
6mm.
Okay. So that's a 6mm domino. I've showed you how to set plunge depth. Excuse me. It's really simple. I don't like using scales, but boy, I like using this micro adjust, so I'm going to put it at 0 right there.
Okay.
Okay, and line it up. Because we're going to cut through this, and we'll do it in one pass, but here's the kicker to it. There's going to be a piece left in the middle, and that could cause it to, because of the rotation of the bit, we could catch it and it could ruin the template. So we're going to cut it so thin. We're going to leave a little layer there that we can just trim up with a cut through with a razor blade.
Okay.
And that's what micro adjustment, or it's one of the things. So just take it like this, look. Okay, so now we're going to go 6mm. We're going to go all the way through. We don't want to leave that piece spinning in there while the router's coming down from speed. Hopefully everybody understands that. So this is why I use micro adjust. Now, I am going to cut a little bit shallower than 6mm. So I'm going to take this scale and I'm going to descend this way. Watch. Each one of those clicks is 1/10 of a millimeter. Okay? And you can tell because now you can't get it in there.
Ah, gotcha.
See that? So now we're not going to cut all the way through, and you'll see, we'll hold it up to the light and it'll be a very thin piece.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, Big D, what's next? Okay, before you get started, I'm going to have you work this, okay?
Okay.
There's a couple things I just did to make sure we weren't cutting all the way through. I had set the depth, but I wanted to check micro adjust. So off to the side here, I just used this side of the template. I went this way, and you can see we're at the veneer, but I also want to show you something as we go. Now, which way is this router going to go?
This way.
Okay, how do you know?
Because of the rotation of the bit.
Okay, so you remember this? Right? That's your bearing or template guide or parallel edge guide. Wherever, and use your right hand, this points in the direction, if you make an L, which way you're going to go. So you're right. Now, I used to tell people to start there. No, I like to start that template guide right in the corner. You support it on both sides, and you're going to take it around this way.
All right.
Okay? So there you go.
All right.
Big D, great job. Chris, come in here so you can see this. Look, we're right on our line. She's got that perfect template done. Okay, we could take it off and then cut through the veneer because you are at the veneer.
Okay.
But what I like to do is flirt with a little danger.
Oh, no.
I'm going to, so we want to go a little bit deeper.
Okay.
And Chris, see this right here? See that where we have a 5? Let's go one more click and go for a pass around. Okay? And I'll do this pass if you don't mind.
Sounds good.
Okay. Hey, my boom arm. Remember, always let it come down from speed before. Okay, a little router safety. Now, Chris, come in here and look, and I want everybody to see this. That is what micro adjustment is. Look at that. We're right down to the bottom of the veneer. We haven't cut into our table or our substrate, so now we can take it apart and cut the rest.
All right, let's do it.
Big D, what are you looking at? Oh,
I can look almost right through.
wow, man. So there you go. Now, you see this piece right here? If we went all the way through and that bit is spinning at 22,000 RPM, I've done this so many times. It catches and hits that and ruins your template. Now this is perfect.
Awesome.
So what I'm doing is I'm just taking my knife, and my knife is supported on the template, and I'm just slowly cutting that veneer right across like this. And this is just a really nice way to make a perfect template for years to come. And I'll just trim it up like this and break it away. Perfect template.
That's awesome.
And sometimes I'll just take it and just slowly shave it like this. And you'll see, I don't want to hurt that template at all. I'll just come in here. And boy, this is just a nice, safe, and super accurate way of making a template.
That's cool.
Yep.
Wow, that was a lot to take in, but I feel like it makes a lot of sense.
That was your first pattern you cut, right?
Yep, first one.
Now you have it for the rest of your life.
That's
okay.
Awesome.
There's a lot in this video. What I wanted to get across to you, the viewer, is this MFS and how versatile it can be and how simple it is. A lot of people have reached out after the MFS primer and said, hey, keep going, and we are. We're gonna do circles and arcs coming up.
Nice.
But there's a lot to this video because we talked about template material or pattern material. We talked about bits. We talked about the proper layout. Look how perfect that is for you, Big D.
That's
You
awesome.
got a great one, a great template for your mortising. And we talked about depth too, and the micro adjust on the router, and how paper thin you can get that veneer.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what we always say works.
Yep. Be positive.
Stay sharp.